Alright, so for the start of this video, my OBS didn't record my mic and I didn't find out till afterwards. And it was me and Alex working on this machine right here. So this is what we used for the evokers transportation, but we're also using it for the nether mob switch that's temporary. So just over there, we have another mob switch thing. So I had to change it up a bit because you can't use water in the nether. And we wanted one for the nether as we started to work on our nether or wither skeleton perimeter. So we didn't have any mobs because ghasts are pretty annoying when trying to build, and pretty much any mob when you're trying to do something repetitive exactly, they get really annoying. So we decided to do this as well. So we needed 150 more zombie villagers that we traded with. But yeah, this is just temporary, like I said, just in case this does get fixed. We do have a backup plan once this perimeter is done that we can do. But yeah, they are loaded on the green side and not loaded on the red side. Obviously there are no spawn chunks in the nether, so we have to use a chunk loader, which isn't really... So pretty much all you need to do here, I figured out this after I designed this machine here, is that all we need to do technically is just to turn off the portal chunk loader. So we don't really need all this pistons right here. We could just have them standing here at all times, not need to get pushed around. And then we just turn on and off the chunk loader, which is right here. But too little too late. I already have the thing fully built. And I mean, it's quite useful. I might honestly use this one for the overworld instead, since it's a lot more responsive. You're not waiting for the water columns and then all to fall over. Literally, you're just waiting for the push of a button here, and they all get pushed across just like that. And just like that, you wait a few extra seconds for the chunk loader to kick in. So once this redstone block gets pushed over here and back over there, your chunk loaders are good. And then, of course, you wait for the item to come back here. And there you go, chunks are loaded. And then turning them off, same buttons press, they get pushed over to the red side. And then we turn the light off here, indicating that the switch is not active. But yeah, so this is what we're doing in the first clip here. No audio for some reason. I think it like deselected. It didn't get any audio. So I don't know what went wrong here, but everything else after this was okay, I believe. So back to old me from future me. Alright, so like I said, we're going to be doing a time lapse of the audio that got cut out. So we're building the mob switch here, and we're just making sure that everything's all ready before we send the villagers through. And yes, the mob switch I designed for the nether that can be used in the overworld as well as the nether, but mainly for the nether because there's no water. And here we're just going over making sure everything is perfect, ready for the villagers. Obviously it doesn't need to be exactly perfect because they don't attack us like the evokers did, but it's the same system that we used for the evokers in the raid farm. But yeah, a couple checks just to make sure everything's in the right spot while I'm waiting for Alex and the first villager right there. Put them in a minecart, send them down into the switch. So he should get on the activator rail, pushed in, there he goes. And yeah, so that's 1 out of 150 done. A little bit more to grind out. Alright, so as you can see by all this mess, we have finally finished the 150 zombie villagers here. And as you can see, there's 25 in each of the cell. We hold the tab, and we can see there's 150 next to that 70, so that's 2 mob caps. It's actually bigger than 2 mob caps, so it's 10 more than what we need, but this is just a buffer just in case for some reason, somehow, one of these guys takes damage and dies. We still have that buffer. Yeah, so with one click of a little button right here, so we're in free cam. I'm looking at the button right now, as you can see by that outline right there. So with one click of this button, they all get to push to the other side. And that's something I really like about this, right? The look of it is it goes in like a little wave formation. That's kind of what I kind of like there. So yeah, these simple double piston extenders here, which are all 1 wide, they technically are tileable, but we don't need them to be tileable because you can't have them right next to each other. We gotta have the block in between. So yeah, all we're gonna do is look a chunk loader this now. Since this is all in one chunk right here, we can just chunk load that. And yeah, so when we want it off, we just turn the chunk loader off. And then yeah, so let's get to the chunk loader, get everything up, and then we'll head to the project for today. Alright, chunk loader is in place. We have it on both sides. So we did my design for the chunk loader here since this is the one I found the most reliable. The minecart isn't very reliable. I guess some lag spikes. The minecart just gets stuck in the middle of the portal frame, so we're not doing that. We are sending an item through the portal and basically recycling it across dimensions. So yeah, pretty much what I did is I just added a basically another one of these, I guess, T flip-flops. So once that light turns on or off, we get a 1 tick pulse to here. So if this light is on, that means this redstone block should be right in this position here, extending this guy up so that this hopper is no longer powered. And if I turn it off, this gets retracted, that gets retracted, so this stays powering this. When that one gets over there, they're both powered. So then neither hopper can transfer or receive items. And yeah, so this chunk loader is based off a hopper clock with a dropper right above it that shoots the item into the portal. And then we have a 4 tall portal just so we can have it more space, have all the space we need. So we send that item through, it goes and gets collected by hoppers on the ground right here. So there's 2 hoppers here on either side that collects the item. We then transfer it into a dropper vader, which brings it up to about this obsidian block right here. Then we push it over with another dropper into the next dropper that's sitting right here, shoot it into the portal, and it comes back. As you can see, we'll sit here and wait for it to go so you can watch the thing in the hole in action. We'll shoot it through, and about 2 seconds later, we'll see the item come back. 1, 2, and the item comes back. And that's how you get a chunk loader. So we have 150 of them here, which the light indicated by the sign here. When the light is on, the switch is active. So basically, we turn the chunk loader on and off with that lever or the button as well. So if we fly away and we unload this, give it about 15 seconds for the chunks to fully get unloaded. And it's still there, so we're not getting any mobs to spawn. We can go land on the bedrock here. Actually, we can go through the bedrock. We have a hole right here for the guardian farm. So we go through here, and we head down. We will have a very peaceful nether. This is going to be so helpful with the next project that we're going to do. Obviously, we'll still get shredders, but shredders are not hostile. So they'd have different mob cap, so I'm not worried about them at all. So yeah, this is going to be very useful. Alright, so we're back at a very familiar location to some of you if you've seen the nether world eater. So this has been neglected for way too long, and we're going to start to work on it. Now we're going to be doing things a bit different this perimeter. So obviously at the same area basically, so it's a little bit shorter on these sides and a little bit shorter on these sides as well, but we can still fit the same, I guess, floor print, so the 266 by 266, but obviously it is a lot taller, so we have to do the walls a bit taller this time around. So yeah, this place looks a lot different than it did before. It's because we had to extend this a little bit just to make sure we had enough clearance. And yeah, so definitely I'm debating keeping the ceiling here. I guess it will have to determine on what is here and what it looks like with the walls and everything in place. But we'll have to see. Maybe we try to floss the bedrock and get rid of every block, but that would also take a lot of time. But we'll see in the end what I decide to do. But yeah, so this place, there used to be a whole other fortress right here. We have 4 crossroad sections all in like a T formation basically. So there's 3 up top and then 1 at the bottom. So yeah, I'm debating if I just want to do the 3 in the line or the one at the bottom. I don't know. we'll have to see in time. So we're going to do the same concept here. So we turn the schematic rendering on with the same floor, a little bit different. So instead of doing the X's, we're doing squares. And with this fully built in, it kind of gives it like a 3D effect because we changed from the black to gray to white. So it pretty much looks like that these outer of the squares are further away, and the white, because it's bright, is in the front. So it gives it like, kind of like a beacon, I guess, effect to it, where it's like layered and tiered. So you'll see that once we get a couple more than like 1 or 2 strips constructed, you can start to see that. But for the walls, we're going to be doing this automatically. So the walls will be made out of the 3 concrete powders on the floor. So we'll be making it out of black concrete powder, gray concrete powder, and white concrete powder. So what we're going to do is a little bit in this wall here, there's a schematic of these are shulker box unloaders, but we're not going to be using them. We're just going to be using hoppers chained to a, you can't really see right now, but there's going to be a AFK player here that's going to be placing concrete against this right here, which will get pushed along and it'll fall down. So I use concrete powder so that it falls all the way down, and this will go all the way to here, which will then get stopped. This block will be obsidian. It'll get stopped. This observer will detect the incoming blocks, so push it across here, and so on and so forth across the whole thing, thus doing the whole walls by itself. We will have to do 1 or 2 strips here, but yeah, it looks like 2, maybe 1 or 2 strips right here, because we get the block here. So the block you place it on is blocking this one and maybe this one here. I'm not sure. This one's a corner, so it doesn't really matter. Gotta get rid of some of that end zone there, but not too big of an issue right now. So yeah, these walls are going to be placed in simultaneously for us doing the floor. So we're trying to do this. We're going to try to race the walls to be done. Honestly, the walls are going to take a really long time. Doing this 80 tall in a test world, running the game at 200% speed, still took the thing 20 to about 30 minutes to get across one wall. My task is to do the floor and the walls at the same time, and it gives it this pretty cool effect with 3 colors. We obviously can do more, but I think less is more in this case. So yeah, we're going to get that done. We're going to start by, like I said, getting the thing in, and we'll come back once we're ready to start the AFK player on the wall. Oh, and as you saw there, the nether mob switch is working like a charm. There's not a single mob there. So this thing is definitely something I am quite happy with. So if you do want a schematic of this, request it in the Discord and I'll get it to you as soon as possible. So yeah, let's actually get to work now. Alright, so we're back here at the perimeter. You can see the wall is going as getting placed in at this point in time. And we get about over 20 shulker boxes of each color. So let's go into spectator mode to see how much we've used so far. We're a little bit away done 1 shulker box. I'm not sure we're getting quite far, but yeah, they're going through. So what we got going on here is we got an AFK player that's getting a randomized output every time. So you can see it goes black, black, gray, white, gray, black, gray, black, gray. It's all randomized because the chopper has its own randomization with it. So this is controlled by this clock right here. So yeah, that's the guy standing there. He's going to do this for us. And this is going to allow us to do the walls basically automatically. So we have all the blocks pushers in, the conveyor belts, all the way around the perimeter. So they're going to be sitting here for, I estimated, about 24 hours before this wall is done. We're about an hour or so in right now, and you can see just how far we are. Okay, so I think this is a problem here where we're skipping a block right here. But as you can see, that does fill itself in. So after it goes this layer right here, it'll do this strip right there. So nothing to worry about. So yeah. We've got some of the floor outlines in. You can see it's the same 19 by 19 square here that we did for the witch farm, but it's going to be a different design, as you can see by that in the back there. So yeah, so debating on if we should floss the ceiling or just do 2 extra layers on the top of the walls, because they can't exactly be raised any higher because of the fact that the bedrock is here, so we can't really remove this bedrock without some weird bedrock removing, but we don't want to do that right now. I think what we're gonna do is we're going to pretty much go up through all here and just floss the bedrock here, making sure that we can't see anything besides bedrock. I think that'll be our best bet to make the perimeter look as good without having to put a whole roof on here, which would just decrease our rates for the farm, which wouldn't make sense for us to do in this whole perimeter if we're still going to have blocks up here. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Try to get rid of all these blocks up here to make it look like it's just a black roof. But yeah, let's get back to work. Got a lot of stuff to do ahead of us. Alright, so, okay, we're falling. Alright, so, Operation Beat the Walls being constructed is not going very well. We have the full grid in now, with all the black concrete, so very little black concrete needs to be used. Still got a couple in the center, that's it, but majority of it is done. But yeah, as you can see, there's almost 3 walls completed, and we haven't even started the detailed part in the center for the squares, and I'm out of rackets. But yeah, we'll go up here for a second. And yeah, so kind of liking how this is turning out. And we'll check the one thing I did that's been taking this so long, because obviously doing that in the floor shouldn't take 18 hours. But what we go down here and look up, this is what has taken the majority of my time. We have completely flossed the bedrock, so now there's only bedrock in the ceiling, which I think makes it look a lot better, especially when the floor is going to be in too. I think that's look when the walls are all the way up as well. I think they'll just tie the whole thing in together. And yeah, so some people will say this is like looks like TV static. I see that too, but I mainly see it as like camo, like snow camo. That's just me, because I play a lot of Battlefield, so that's what's then it comes into my head first. But TV static I also can see. Maybe if you had a little more black in it, I could see a little better. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a nice contrast to the floor and ceiling here. But yeah, time to actually do the center of the squares, and then we'll probably do a time lapse about the last half of the wall here, and then we got to do the 2 layers manually because of the bedrock. So yeah.
Those hazard lights can't stop me. I'll just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from this high. Now with you, now with you, high. Lights can't stop me. I'll just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from the sky.
Alright, so we're doing some bedrock breaking here. Got the first 3 done. Seems really easy with 2 people because you can just sit in one spot and just hold the button down while the other person flicks it. So do one on camera right here. Once I get down, place right click, Alice can click lever. I aim with this top right corner to the obsidian. And it faces up, that's a good sign, so you always know that it did break the bedrock. So this is the top center of the perimeter. So we're going to break this all the way down. We don't care how much deep it is. We're getting this done. So we're going to go over one more because of the position that we have. Oh. Fast left click or fast right click. Flick that lever instantly. Ah. Alright, this should be the last bedrock we're breaking right now, and we should then. I think it worked. It did.
Nice.
Now we have our bedrock hole, so we can get in and out without having to do something with the walls. So if we do have time, there will be a segment after this where the wither skeleton farm is showed off and designed. But if not, then I'm gonna do it for this episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, all those sorts of things, and I'll see you in the next one.